Hey there everyone, today I'm going to be doing a bunch of walkthrough solves. I'm going to be taking all of these videos in different shots, but today on walkthrough solves on 5 of these 3x3s. I'm going to do 8 walkthroughs on a 2x2, 2 walkthroughs on a 4x4, and only 1 walkthrough on a 5x5 on how to solve them. I'll be putting up each video respectively after I put up the how-to series. The 3x3 series is already up, so at the time, the 3x3 is all that will be going up. So, let's get started. Okay, so the 5 cubes that I'll be using for these walkthrough solves are a Diane Zanchi, a Waylong V2, an old Rubik's brand that I've modded, an Oolong V2, and a Tanglong. So, for anyone that doesn't know what a walkthrough solve is, it's just me solving the cube and giving you little tips as I solve it. I'll be solving it pretty slow for everyone, for anyone that's in the beginner side of it, and I might make a little more advanced of this. So, the first cubes I'm going to start with is, let's just get it out of the way, the Rubik's brand, which I hate, but I've modded mine to be okay. So, for a walkthrough solve, every time I solve, I start with the green side. And for green, sorry about that. For the green, that's just how I've learned to solve it. So the first thing I do is I find the green center, and I look for any piece that is already connected to it. So, like right here, we have a green and red that's right here connected. So the first thing I would think of is, okay, so I need to move that to where it lines up. And then I look around and see if there are any pieces that are really close. Okay, so we have this one. Green and white. It's already lined up with the white, and the green's up here, nothing in its way, so you bring it up. Then you look around, and okay, so here's yellow. You can move it around, and on the bottom layer, it's here. So you just knock it up onto the green. And the orange just happens to be here, but I'm going to I'm trying to figure out how I did it to mess it up. There we go. So if you were to be looking for it and you see it on the bottom but it's not lined up, like in what I taught, you would take it and would do a right to move it up to this slot, since there's nothing here getting in the way of getting messed up. You bring this, the slot that it needs to go in front of you. You turn the front inverse to where it goes into its slot. Then whenever you do an U prime, it puts it right in its slot and it doesn't mess up the others. Okay, so now that we have the green, we'll move on to corners. So the first thing I see is this corner. So I'll use the corner insertion move to take it out. Then I'll look over here, and I'll see that it needs to go up here, so I'll use the corner insertion. And I'll just do it over and over until I get it in. So the next one that I see is this, the white, orange, and green. So I'd move it above where it needs to go. Corner insertion, like that. This one, the white, yellow, and red. These are all really easy insertions. And then this. So, sometimes whenever you're solving, you'll get this, to where the green will be facing you, and you'll have to go through so many cycles to get it in, but there's a lot easier way. All you have to do is do the insertion backwards. So if the color that's on the bottom is facing you, whenever it's sitting above the place where it needs to go, all you do is U, R, U prime, R prime, and that'll put it in. It's shorter, quicker, and easier. And I guess I'll leave that in the description. Then I'll move on to edges. So we get this one, it needs to go to the left. Use the algorithm and put it in. Okay, and then we have this red and yellow piece. I look for any color look for any edge that doesn't have a blue piece on it. Alright, so it needs to go there, so I'll use this. Alright, red and white, and I'll probably teach you a little, if you're having trouble with these algorithms, then a little story that I came up with is, you take it, I don't know if I came up with it or if I saw it from some other YouTuber. You take it and you line it up with where it needs to go, and you figure out where its home is, this little home place. You take it and you move it away from the home that it needs to be in. You take the home and move it up right here. Then you move this piece back over towards its home, but the home comes back here whenever you do that. So all you have to do is bring the home towards it, and it'll line up with whatever it is, and then you turn them both this way away from the home. And then you take the front and just flip it this way. Then you can move it back towards where it needs to go, and then you can do front to put it all back in where it needs to be. And same thing for the left side. So I'll just, let me see if I can do that. Set it up for you here. Okay, so it's left. You take it and you move it. It needs to go in this home. You move it away from the home. You move the home up. Then you bring this back towards the home. And the home that's back here, you bring it down so it'll line up. You move them both that way away from the home to where this is lined up with where it needs to go. Then you turn the front this way if it's the left one. Bring it into the home and bring it back down. Okay, so we have the two layers, and now we'll do this. So we have the line, so we'll do this algorithm, and oh, we already got the fish. So also another thing, if you're solving and you end up getting one of these, there's this one, and if I can get it. This one should get it. Okay, or this one, where these are facing you. The best thing to do, instead of trying to look for a side, just always hold the big box end away from you. If there's a big box end, then hold it away from you, where there's a 2x3 row. And then do the fish algorithm. Then it'll get you a fish faster. And for the other one, the other box, this one, you do the same thing, hold it away, and that'll give you this. And with the cross, you would hold it to where there's one here, and then you have your fish. And then that will solve your top layer. Now we look for headlights, which we have over here. And then we do the headlight algorithm. Then we get one of the edge cases, where this one needs to go over here. So we'd flip this twice. You'd bring this that goes here, turn these two down, turn these two, do that, turn these back, and flip it. Alright, so that was the first one. Let's move on to the second. Okay, so for the next one, we have a Diane Zanchi, and I'm going to go a little bit faster. If you want to go back and rewatch that one, if it's slower, then okay. So green side, I see that this piece lines up with it. I see that this piece needs to go here, so I would take it, move it to where it lines up with it, and put it up here. This piece, I see that it's flipped, so I'd bring it up, turn the top away from it, put it in the slot and turn it back. I see that this one's just lined up, so I bring it here. So now we have our green cross. First thing I would look for then is the edges. So I see this green edge, put that in. First thing I see over here is this green edge, so I see it right there. Do the edge insertion. I see this edge right here that needs to go here. And then I see this edge, and since it's facing me, just quickly put it in. Then we move on to edges. I see that this one lines up here, so I do the algorithm. I see this edge that doesn't have blue, I line it up and do the algorithm for which way it needs to go. This one right here already lined up, goes in there. And then this one right here already lined up, which goes in there. Now we have one of the L cases. Oop, wait. And then now we have a line. Now we have this where we need to get the fish. So we hold it to where, okay, so we have one of the blocks, so we hold it that way. Then we get one of the fish. And then now we have this fish. Then we look around. Okay, so no headlights. So then we make headlights by using the same algorithm to solve the headlights. We now have them. So then we do the headlight alg, and that will give us one of the edge parts, and you can do that algorithm if you want to for that. Or if you want, you can still use the flip these, bring it here, turn these down, flip it, turn it back up, flip it away, and then that. Okay, so that is one more cube solved. So we'll move on to the next one. Our next cube is a Moyu Weilong V2 Mini, and I'll be going faster again for this one, still using the beginner method for the new people. So I see that this edge right here is flipped, and I know that it needs to go here. So the first thing I would do is I would move it away from one of the things where it needs to go. Then I would line it up with it, and now that it's lined up, I can line it with this. Okay, and I see that this green and red is already lined up, so I just move it up. And I see that this one right here is flipped, so I'd bring it up, turn it where the slot is, bring it in its slot, and then bring it back. Then look around, and this one lines up, so bring it up. Then I would go on to corners, and see this one right here, it needs to go here, so I just do corner insertion. See this one's already lined up to go here, put it in this corner that's in here, so I take it out with a corner insertion. Green's facing me where it needs to be, so I insert it. See that this one needs to go here, so I insert it. I look and I see this one doesn't have blue, so I take it, do the algorithm. See, this one lines up, do the algorithm. Then I see this one doesn't have blue and lines up, so I do the algorithm. I see this one, do the algorithm. Then we have this, same thing as last time. We get another block, do it soon. We get a fish. Then we get the one fish. And we do have headlights here. It's a bar, but still counts as headlights. So we do the headlight algorithm. Then we look over here, and we can do this, that. Okay, so that's the next one solved. And then we will move on to the next cube. Okay, so our next cube is a Moyu Tanglong in teal plastic. So first thing I would do is see that this one is flipped, so I'd do the same thing I did with that one. I'd move it out of the way of it. I'd bring it down to line it up with it. And then I would take it and line it up with green. Oh, but if you look, before we move that, this one was lined up with green. So the first thing I would do is line it up with where it needs to go. Then I can move this one, and now we have two done. I see that this one is flipped, so I take it up here, move it out of the way, bring it in, then move it back to its slot. And also on the bottom, I see that this one's flipped, the green and red. So I take it, move it up here, this, put it in the slot and bring it back. Now I move on to corners. I see this one, so I take it and I move it above where it needs to go. It's facing me, so I can do the backwards. This one's above where it needs to go, so I'd insert it. I see this corner that needs to go here, I'd insert it. This corner above here where it needs to go, insert it. See this white and orange, so I'd take it, line it up, do the algorithm, put it in. See this yellow and orange needs to go over here, line it up. This red and yellow that's right here, line it up and put it in. Then right here, I see that this is in here. So the best thing for a beginner to do is to just take any random edge, like any blue one, and act like you're inserting it. That will pop this one out, which you can then line it up and insert it, and it'll be in there correctly. And then right away we get a fish. And then we look around, so we have headlights here. Then we do the headlight algorithm. Now that we've done that, we get this, turn it this way, these. Then we solve the cube. So now we'll be moving on to the next cube. Okay, so we're on our last example solve. And the first thing I would do is I would look at the cube. Okay, so this one's flipped, just like before. Move it out of the way, move it up here, and then I would line it up. Get green here, so I'd see that this piece that's up here on the top, if I just move it to where it lines up with its piece, and then move it up here, it's in the place where it needs to be. This edge is flipped, so I would take it, move it right, that, bring it in, put it in. Now I see this one's lined up, so you bring it up. Go look for edges. I see this one, green's facing me, so put it in. This one, put it green facing, put it in. I see this edge, it needs to go here, so I just do the insertion until it goes in. Then I see this one, do the insertion until it goes in. I immediately see this edge with yellow and orange. Do the insertion, put it in over here. I then see this yellow and orange, or white and orange, and take it, put it over there. This red and yellow, and take it and line it up with the red, put it in. I see this one, take it, put it in. Now we've got that done. Let me see one of these. So we do this, we get a line, do it again, so we get another bow tie. Do that, we got another block, do the fish again. We got two fish, go back, now we have this fish. Now we look in, we've got this one, so we do this, that, these. Okay, so that is the last example solve. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you all liked the example solves that I did, and I hope they helped you a little bit, whether they were the slower ones or the fast ones. The example solves for the 2x2 will be out tomorrow after this. So thank you all for watching. If you like the video, like it, leave a comment, tell me anything else you'd like to see. I just did this off of a whim. Thought maybe it could help some people out there. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Keep you updated on whenever I release new videos on this or Summoner's War. So, see you all tomorrow.